A Korean billionaire gave his black card to a homeless woman at 9:47 p.m. At 11:33 p.m., his phone exploded with alerts. 17 transactions, 43 million won spent. But it wasn't the amount that made him collapse against his car. It was where the money went. Hansung Medical Center, the hospital he used to own, the hospital where his sister died 5 years ago after he refused to answer her calls. Transaction log shows patient 4728 paid in full, patient 1847 paid in full, patient 3201 paid in full, all deceased, all from 5 years ago, all from the same week his sister died. This woman wasn't just paying random bills, she was systematically erasing the exact patients from the night his hospital turned them away, patients he had turned away with his cost-cutting policies. His hands shook as he scrolled to the last transaction, and then he saw it, the one that made him scream in his empty car. Security footage request, Hansung Medical ICU, December 14th, 2020, 2:47 a.m. She'd purchased the security footage from the night his sister died. The footage he'd buried, the footage he'd paid 50 million won to destroy because it showed him in the parking lot seeing his sister's 47 missed calls and driving away. She has the tape. This homeless woman with nothing has the one thing that could destroy him. And in 20 hours and 27 minutes, when she returns that card, she's going to show him exactly what kind of monster he really is. Most people would buy a mansion or a sports car with an unlimited card, but at 11:33 p.m., Vicky spent 8.4 million won on a bill for a woman who has been dead for 5 years. Why did she do it? Drop a heart if you think she's a hero, or a question mark if you think this is a trap. Before we continue, hit subscribe, like this video, and tell me in the comments where in the world you're watching from. I believe this story found you today for a reason. 38-year-old Gu Won had stopped believing in human redemption years ago. As CEO of Gu Global Pharmaceuticals, a Korean empire worth 13.2 trillion won, he'd watched people lie, betray, and manipulate for far less than dignity required. His penthouse overlooking the Han River had floor-to-ceiling windows stretching 15 meters high, contemporary art worth billions hanging on walls that echoed with expensive silence. He owned properties in 4 countries. His watch cost more than most families earned in 5 years. Yet every morning he woke up feeling like a man buried alive in luxury. His late father had drilled one lesson into him since childhood. Trust is a weakness only fools indulge. Son, the desperate are especially dangerous. Give them hope, they'll take everything and still demand your soul. They can't help themselves. Desperation turns saints into thieves. But there was another voice that haunted Gu Won, louder than his father's. His sister Mi Sun's final text message, sent 5 years ago at 2:47 a.m. "Oppa, I'm not lying this time. Please, I'm sick. I'm scared." He never responded. She died 3 days later, homeless, alone, in a public hospital bed. Patient number 4728. Gu Won had carried that phone like scripture for 5 years. Every charitable donation filtered through lawyers and accountants. Every act of giving calculated for tax benefits and public image. He'd paid medical debts for hundreds of strangers, but never once looked poverty in the face without a buffer between them. Not without conditions, not without control, not without protecting himself from the guilt that was eating him alive. But that January evening, something cracked in the ice around his chest. He was leaving his therapist's office, his 4th this year, rushing toward his Mercedes with his assistant trailing behind.
His Tom Ford suit cost 8.5 million won. His leather portfolio held contracts worth 40 billion won. His phone buzzed relentlessly with messages from board members, investors, executives, all demanding pieces of his attention, his time, his decision-making power. Then he saw her. Huddled against a concrete pillar outside Gangnam Station sat a woman, maybe early 30s, with exhaustion carved into every line of her face. A little girl, no older than 6, slept curled in her lap, wrapped in a donated jacket several sizes too large. The woman's arms were locked around the child like a fortress made of flesh, brawn, and desperate love. A piece of cardboard rested beside them, marker fading from rain. Single mother, lost everything. Anything helps. God bless. Gu Wan stopped walking. His assistant nearly crashed into him. "Mr. Gu, the board meeting starts in 7 minutes. We need to—" "Wait here," Gu Wan said, his voice distant, disconnected from the urgency around him. He approached slowly, expensive shoes clicking against wet pavement, unsure why his body moved when every logical part of his brain screamed to keep walking. Homeless people were everywhere in Seoul. This wasn't special. This wasn't different. This was just another casualty of a system he'd helped build, with his hospital policies, his cut-cost measures, his financially unviable patient protocols. Except something about her stopped him cold.
When the woman looked up, there was no performance in her eyes, no rehearsed desperation or practiced plea, just bone-deep exhaustion, the kind that settles into marrow after months of carrying weight no single person should bear. Her lips were chapped from winter wind, her fingernails were clean but ragged. She'd given up on vanity, but not on dignity. And for one terrible, heart-stopping second, she looked exactly like Mi-sun. "I'm sorry," she said immediately, voice rough from cold and disuse. "We're not bothering anyone. We can move if we need to." Her apology for existing hit Gu Wan harder than any business loss ever had. "What's your name?" he asked, kneeling down despite the protests of his $3 million suit touching filthy pavement. She blinked, surprised that kindness wore a suit that expensive. "Vicky," she said quietly. "Vicky Maddie." "And your daughter?" The woman's arms instinctively tightened around the sleeping child, protective, primal. "Her name is Wendy. She just turned 6 last month." Gu Wan studied Vicky's face. Intelligence lived behind that exhaustion, education in the careful way she spoke. This wasn't someone born into poverty. This was someone who'd fallen from somewhere higher and couldn't find footing on the way down. "How long have you been out here?" he asked. Shame flickered across Vicky's features like a match struck in darkness. 5 months, she whispered. "We were staying at a shelter until they ran out of space. We've been rotating between here and the subway station when it rains." 5 months. A 6-year-old child sleeping on concrete for 5 months while millions of people walked past every single day. His assistant cleared her throat impatiently behind him. "Mr. Gu, we really must—" Gu Wan raised one hand, silencing her without breaking eye contact with Vicky. His father's voice echoed in his skull. "The desperate will bleed you dry and smile while doing it." But Mi-sun's voice was louder. "Oppa, please, I'm scared." Maybe it was time to test that theory himself, to prove once and for all whether his father had been right or whether Gu Wan had spent 5 years believing a lie that protected his wallet but destroyed his soul. To see if anyone would show up differently than he had from Mi-sun. Gu Wan reached into his wallet and pulled out his sleek black credit card. Matte finish, platinum edges, raised numbers, no spending limit, no restrictions, just pure, unrestricted access to wealth most people couldn't comprehend in their wildest dreams. Vicky stared at it like he'd pulled out a loaded gun. "Take it," Gu Wan said, holding the card between them like a bridge between 2 different worlds. "I don't understand," she stammered, pulling Wendy closer as if the card itself might hurt them.
"It's yours for 24 hours, Guwan explained, his voice steady despite the chaos of doubt screaming inside his head. "Buy whatever you want. No limits, no questions, no conditions." Vicky's hands began to tremble. "Sir, this has to be some kind of trick. People don't just hand out credit cards to strangers, especially not to people like me." "I want to see something," Guwan said, and for the first time in 5 years, he spoke complete truth. "I want to see what someone with nothing does when given everything. I want to test whether my father was right or whether my sister was right, that people are worth believing in." He pressed the card into her palm. Her fingers were ice cold, rough from exposure, shaking like leaves in a storm. "Why me?" Vicky whispered, tears pooling in eyes that had cried themselves empty months ago. Guwan looked at Wendy sleeping peacefully, despite the cold, despite the noise, despite the absolute instability of her entire world. He thought about Misan in her final days, cold, sick, alone, begging him for help he refused to give because he thought she was lying. This child had nothing except a mother who refused to let go. "Because I failed someone who looked just like you," Guwan said quietly, his voice breaking for the first time in years. "Because I didn't show up when it mattered most. Because I want to believe there's still something good left in people who've lost everything."
He stood up, rain soaking through his expensive suit, and spoke the words that would change both their lives. "Prove my father right, or prove my sister right. Either way, I'll finally know the truth." Then he turned and walked away, leaving Vicky Maddie holding unlimited power in her trembling hands. What he didn't know, what he couldn't possibly know, was that Vicky Maddie wasn't just any homeless woman. She was the nurse who'd tried to save his sister 5 years ago. She was the woman who'd been fired, blacklisted, and destroyed for refusing to let patient 4728 die without a fight. And in exactly 57 minutes, she would make a purchase that would bring Guwan to his knees. Have you ever regretted not helping someone when you had the chance? Share your story below the comment. We're reading every one. Guwan's therapy session, 6 p.m. His psychiatrist asks the same question as always. Have you forgiven yourself yet? Guwan doesn't answer. He pays cash and leaves. In his car, he opens a folder he carries everywhere, his sister's final medical records, unpaid bills, and her last text message to him. "Oppa, I'm not lying this time. Please, I'm sick. I'm scared." He never responded. Then he sees Vicky through the rain. The resemblance is uncanny. Same slight build, same exhausted eyes, same way of holding herself small, trying to disappear. Wendy is sleeping, clutching a teddy bear with a missing button eye, just like Mi-sun's childhood bear. Guwan makes his decision. He approaches, explains the 24-hour deal, and hands over the card. Vicky's response isn't gratitude, it's suspicion bordering on fear. "What do you really want?" she asks. "To see if people like you exist," he says, "or if my sister was wrong about the world." As he walks away, Vicky notices something. Engraved on the card holder is a hospital logo, Hansung Medical Center, the hospital that destroyed her life. Her hands begin to shake. Vicky sits in a 24-hour internet cafe, Wendy asleep in her lap. She Googles Guwan. The search results are overwhelming. Billionaire CEO, pharmaceutical empire, former owner of Hansung Medical Center. Her blood runs cold. Is this a setup? Did someone from the hospital recognize her? Is this some elaborate retaliation for the lawsuit she tried to file? But Wendy stirs, coughs, that same wet cough that's been getting worse. Vicky knows that cough, pneumonia probably. Wendy needs medicine, needs warmth, needs things Vicky can't provide. She looks at the black card, makes her decision. Her first purchase, a cheap motel room. Her second,
children's cold medicine, and a thermometer. Total spent $47. Gu Wan watches the transactions on his phone, confused. Why isn't she buying more, he mutters. Vicky opens her old nursing bag. She's kept it all these years, despite everything. Inside are crumpled papers, a list of names, patients she couldn't help, patients the hospital turned away, and at the top, circled in red ink, patient number 4728, Choi Mi-sun, deceased, outstanding balance, 8,420,000 won. Vicky only spent $47 on medicine and a motel, even though she has billions at her fingertips. Gu Wan is confused, and so are we. If you had 24 hours with an unlimited card, what is the very first thing you would buy? Be honest.
9:30 p.m. Vicky explains to sleeping Wendy what she's about to do, as if confessing. Mommy failed a lot of people, baby. But maybe tonight I can fix some of it. She begins methodically working through her list. First stop, an apartment complex in Gangnam. She pays 6 months back rent for the Park family, an elderly couple she met at a soup kitchen. The grandmother once gave Wendy her own blanket on a freezing night. Second stop, a 24-hour pharmacy. She buys 3 months' worth of insulin for a diabetic homeless veteran who shared his food with them. Third stop, a police station. She pays the fine to get a young mother's impounded car released. The woman needs it for work. Each transaction, Vicky keeps detailed receipts and writes personal notes. Gu Wan follows at a distance. His confusion grows into something else, something uncomfortable. Recognition. These are the exact kinds of things he's been anonymously funding for years. The same desperate situations, the same invisible people. Vicky's next GPS location appears on Gu Wan's screen. His face goes white. No, he whispers, not there, anywhere but there. It's Hansung Medical Center, the hospital where his sister died.
Vicky stands outside Hansung Medical Center, 11:47 p.m. She hasn't been back since the day security escorted her out, the day they accused her of theft, the day her entire life ended. She holds Wendy tighter and walks through the doors. The night receptionist doesn't recognize her. Vicky approaches the billing department with her list. I need to pay some outstanding accounts, she says, voice steady despite her racing heart. Meanwhile, Gu Wan sits in his car across the street, paralyzed. He can't go in there, hasn't been able to since Mi-sun died, but he needs to know what Vicky is doing. Inside, Vicky hands over patient numbers. The billing clerk looks confused. Ma'am, some of these accounts are very old. Some of these patients are deceased. I know, Vicky says quietly. Pay them anyway. One by one, she clears the debts. Patient 1847, young mother with leukemia, 4,200,000 won. Patient 3201, elderly man with heart failure, 6,800,000 won. Patient 4728, Choi Mi-sun, 8,420,000 won. The clerk processes the payments, bewildered. Vicky stares at Mi-sun's cleared balance on the screen. I'm sorry, she whispers. I'm so sorry I couldn't save you. A flashback shows Vicky as a nurse 5 years ago, fighting with hospital administration. She needs treatment now. She can't pay, Nurse Maddie. Then I'll treat her anyway. Do that and you're fired. Vicky treated Mi-sun anyway, sneaking medications, falsifying charts. She was caught, fired, accused of theft. Mi-sun died 3 days later after being transferred to a public facility. Vicky's been carrying this guilt for 5 years. As Vicky exits the hospital, she doesn't see Gu Wan watching from his car, tears streaming down his face. His phone shows the transaction alert. Payment processed, patient 4728. He realizes what just happened. A stranger just paid his dead sister's hospital bill. The sister whose debt he refused to pay when she was alive because he thought she was lying. He opens his car door, about to confront Vicky, but his phone rings. It's his head of security. "Sir, there's a problem with the credit card. Fraud department is flagging the transactions. They're threatening to freeze the account." The moment she walked into that hospital, the clock stopped being about money and started counting down to a truth that would break him. Before we continue, kindly hit subscribe, like this video, and tell me in the comments where in the world you're watching from. This story is getting more intense.
1:30 a.m. Vicky has 18 and a half hours left, but now she's racing against another clock, the bank fraud investigation. She doesn't know this yet. She continues her mission. Next stop, a rundown neighborhood where Seoul's invisible people gather. She finds the community she once was part of, the homeless encampment under the Hangang Bridge. She doesn't just give them money. She does something more radical. She asks them what they need. One by one, she listens. "My daughter's in Busan. I haven't seen her in 3 years. Bus ticket costs 45,000 won. I need new shoes for my job interview, size 270. My dog needs surgery. I know he's just a dog, but..." Vicky buys the bus ticket, the shoes. She pays for the dog's surgery. She sees each person, remembers their names, treats them with dignity. Gu Wan watches from a distance, his carefully constructed worldview crumbling. He spent 5 years throwing money at guilt, but he's never actually looked at the people he was helping, never asked, never listened. At 3:47 a.m., Vicky's card has declined for the first time. "Fraud hold," the payment terminal reads. She has 15 million won worth of debts she still wants to pay and 16 hours left. She pulls out her phone to call the bank and sees 47 missed calls from an unknown number, Gu Wan's number. Her heart stops. "He knows," she whispers.
4 a.m. Vicky's phone rings again. This time, she answers. "Why did you pay patient 4728's bill?" Gu Wan's voice is raw, broken. Vicky freezes. How do you know about..." "Answer the question." "I was her nurse," Vicky says finally. "I tried to help her. I failed. I've been failing people my entire life, and Her voice breaks. "I couldn't save her, but maybe I could give her some dignity, even if it's too late." Silence on the line. "You were fired from Hansung Medical?" Gu Wan says, not a question. "Yes." "For stealing medications?" "That's what they claimed. I was trying to treat patients who couldn't pay. Your sister, patient 4728, she needed antibiotics, IV fluids, monitoring. They were going to discharge her to die on the street, so I..." She stops, realizes what she just said. "Wait, your sister?" The line goes dead. Vicky stands in the pre-dawn darkness, understanding crashing over her. The man who gave her the card is the brother who didn't come, the brother whose name was on all the emergency contact forms that went unanswered, the brother Mi-sun cried for in her final hours. "No," breathes Vicky. "No, no, no. This isn't an experiment. This is..." She looks at Wendy, then at the card. "This is a confession." Redemption isn't about the money you spend, it's about finally showing up. Gu Wan and Vicky found healing in the one person they both thought they failed. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to know it's never too late to do the right thing. Before we continue, kindly hit subscribe, like this video, and tell me in the comments where in the world you're watching from. Gu Wan's penthouse, 4:15 a.m. He's destroyed his living room, furniture overturned, glass shattered. His assistant finds him on the floor, holding Mi-sun's final text message. Flashback sequence. 5 years ago, Mi-sun calling, texting, begging, Gu-won refusing to answer because she'd lied before, stolen before, manipulated before during her addiction. He thought this was another scam, another lie, but this time it wasn't. She went to Hansung Medical Center, the hospital he owned at the time. She was treated initially, then deemed financially unviable by administrators following his own cost-cutting policies. A nurse fought for her, Vicky Maddie. That nurse was fired for insubordination and suspected theft. Mi-sun was transferred, died 3 days later. Gu-won inherited her body, her debts, and guilt that would never die. He sold Hansung Medical Center the next month, started anonymously paying medical debts, started his experiments with humanity, started punishing himself by trying to prove everyone was as terrible as he'd been. Revelation. She tried to save me, son, he realizes. Vicky tried, and I got her fired for it. I destroyed both their lives. His assistant speaks. Sir, the bank has frozen the card, fraud investigation, and there's something else. Hospital security from Hansung flagged Nurse Natty's appearance last night. They've filed a trespassing alert. If she tries to use that card again, police will be notified.
6 a.m. Vicky sits in the motel room with Wendy, the black card on the table, now useless. She has 14 hours left and a frozen account. But she also has something else. The receipts and notes from everyone she's already helped, proof of what she did. She could run, take Wendy and disappear before Gu-won finds her, before the police come, before the confrontation she knows is inevitable. Wendy wakes up. Mommy, where are we? Somewhere safe, baby. Are we going to stay? That question breaks Vicky. Because the truth is, they never stay. They never get to stay. She makes a decision. She spent 5 years running from her guilt, her past, her failure to save Mi-sun. Running won't heal that wound. She needs to face him, face what happened, face the truth. She calls Gu-won back. The cafe where we started, 8 p.m. tonight. I'll return your card, but first we're going to talk about your sister, the real conversation, not whatever experiment you think this is. You don't understand, Gu-won begins. No, you don't understand. Mi-sun didn't die because of medical bills. She died because the people who were supposed to love her didn't show up. I was just a nurse, but you were her brother. So yes, we're going to talk, and you're going to listen. She hangs up. Gu-won stares at his phone, shaking. No one has spoken to him like that in a decade. For the first time since Mi-sun's death, he feels something other than numbness. Fear. Fear of the truth he's been avoiding.
10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Vicky spends her remaining time with the card frozen, not buying anything, but delivering the receipts and handwritten notes to everyone she helped. She travels across Seoul, returning to each person. The grandmother whose rent she paid, Vicky gives her a note. You gave Wendy your blanket. I'll never forget. The veteran, she brings his insulin personally, along with information about free VA medical programs. The man whose dog needed surgery, she visits the animal hospital, sits with him while his dog recovers. Each interaction is brief but profound. These aren't transactions anymore. They're connections, witnesses, proof that she existed, that she mattered. Meanwhile, Gu-won spends the day retracing Vicky's steps through the GPS history. He sees the pattern, every location connected to his sister's final days. The pharmacy where Mi-sun tried to fill prescriptions she couldn't afford. The neighborhood where she slept rough. The hospital where she died. Vicky wasn't just being kind. She was following Mi-sun's ghost, finishing what she started 5 years ago. 7:30 p.m. Vicky stands outside the cafe, Wendy holding her hand. She sees Gu-won already inside, sitting at a table, his face in his hands. She takes a breath. Here we go, baby. As she reaches for the door, she notices something. Police cars pulling up across the street. Hospital security must have filed charges. She has minutes before they arrest her. She looks at Wendy, then at Gu-won. She walks inside anyway.
The cafe, 7:58 p.m. Vicky places the black card on the table along with the folder of receipts and notes. I spent $43,280,000 of your money in 24 hours, she says. None of it on myself except one meal for my daughter. I can account for every one. Here's your proof that people are terrible, or good, or whatever you were looking for. Gu-won opens the folder, sees Mi-sun's name. His hands tremble. You knew, he whispers. You knew she was my sister. Not at first. I figured it out tonight during the phone call. Why did you come back? You could have run. Because your sister deserves better than two people running from her memory. The words hit like a physical blow. Gu-won's composure shatters. I killed her, he says. I refused to help her. I thought she was lying. I thought... He can't continue. You weren't there, Vicky says, her voice hard. But I was. And you want to know what her last words were? Gu-won looks up, terrified. She said, tell my brother I forgive him. Tell him to stop punishing himself and live. That's a lie, Gu-won says. You're trying to make me feel better. You're right, Vicky admits. She didn't say that. She died unconscious from sepsis, alone in a public hospital bed with no family present. I was there holding her hand during my off shift because no one else was. The brutal honesty breaks them both. But, Vicky continues, voice shaking, if she could have spoken, that's what she would have said. Because in the 3 days I knew her, all she talked about was you. How smart you were, how proud she was, how she wished she'd been a better sister, how she hoped you'd forgive her. Gu-won collapses, sobbing. I don't deserve forgiveness, he chokes out. Neither do I, Vicky says. I was her nurse. It was my job to save her, and I failed. I got fired trying, and I still failed. So we can both sit in our guilt forever. Or what? Or we can honor her by actually living, by helping people the way she needed help, by being the person she believed we could be. Through the cafe window, police officers enter. Hospital security is with them, pointing at Vicky. That's her, trespassing and suspected fraud. Gu-won sees them, has seconds to decide. Does he let them take her, the woman who tried to save his sister? Or does he finally show up? Gu-won stands as police approach. Vicky instinctively shields Wendy. Officers, Gu-won says, his voice steady. There's been a misunderstanding. Sir, this woman is accused of trespassing at Hansung Medical Center and fraudulent use of a credit card. My credit card, Gu-won interrupts, which I gave her permission to use. As for Hansung Medical, I was the former owner. I'm authorizing her access retroactively. Any charges are dismissed. The hospital security guard sputters. But she was terminated for theft. Wrongfully terminated, Gu-won says coldly. And if you'd like to pursue this further, my legal team would be delighted to investigate the circumstances of her dismissal, including the hospital's policy of denying emergency treatment to financially unstable patients, a policy that violated medical ethics and possibly criminal law. The officers look uncertain. The security guard backs down. There's no complaint here, Gu-won concludes. These officers can leave. As police exit, Vicky stares at him in shock. Why did you? Because 5 years ago, I didn't show up, Gu-won says. I'm showing up now. Wendy, who's been silent this whole time, looks up at Gu-won. Are you the sad man from my mommy's dreams? Everyone freezes. Mommy cries sometimes at night. She talks about a lady in the hospital and a brother who didn't come. Are you the brother?" Out of the mouths of babes, the truth, undeniable. Guwan kneels down to Wendy's level. "Yes," he whispers. "I'm the brother who didn't come, and I'm so sorry." Wendy considers this. Then, "You're here now." Such simple words, such devastating grace. Guwan stands, pulls out a document he's been carrying. "I prepared this before tonight, before I knew about you and me son, but now it means something different." He hands it to Vicky. It's a contract, director of the Choi Mi-sun Memorial Foundation. Full salary, housing, Wendy's education funded. But there's more. Page 7, he says. Vicky turns to it. It's a legal exoneration of all charges from Hansung Medical, a formal apology and restoration of her nursing license. "I spent 5 years trying to buy my way out of guilt, but you taught me something tonight. Redemption isn't about money. It's about showing up. So I'm asking, will you show up? With me? To build something that actually honors her?"
The cafe, 9:15 p.m. Vicky holds the contract, tears streaming down her face. "I can't take this," she says. "I failed her. I don't deserve." "She tried to save my sister," Guwan interrupts, looking at Wendy, "when no one else would, when it cost her everything, when I, her own brother, wouldn't even answer the phone." His voice breaks. "You're the only person in Mi-sun's entire life who showed up when it mattered. If anyone deserves this, it's you." Vicky looks at the contract, at Wendy, at this broken man offering her a life back. "I have one condition," she says finally. "Anything. We don't build this foundation out of guilt. We build it out of hope. We honor Mi-sun not by punishing ourselves, but by making sure no one else dies alone and afraid because the system failed them." Guwan nods, unable to speak. "And one more thing," Vicky adds. "We tell Wendy the truth, all of it, when she's old enough, because she deserves to know that even broken people can try to fix things." "Deal," Guwan whispers. 6 months later, the Choi Mi-sun Memorial Foundation occupies the former Hansung Medical Center building, now converted. Vicky, reinstated as a nurse and director, runs a revolutionary program, free medical care for anyone, funded by Guwan's fortune and open donations. But more importantly, it's a place where people are seen, where their names are remembered, where they matter. Guwan works alongside her, not as the CEO above it all, but in the clinic, learning patients' names, listening to their stories, showing up. He's learning to forgive himself, slowly, with help. Wendy, now in school, draws pictures for the patients. One of her drawings hangs in the main lobby, a woman with angel wings labeled, "Aunt Mi-sun, we never met you, but we remember you." Vicky finds Guwan in Mi-sun's memorial room, a quiet space with her photo, her belongings, her story. "Do you think she'd be proud?" he asks. "I think she'd be relieved you finally picked up the phone," Vicky says gently. Guwan laughs, a real laugh, the first in years. "You know what's strange? I gave you that card expecting you to prove people are terrible, to confirm my worst beliefs. And instead, you saved my life. You didn't just return the card, you returned something I'd lost. Hope, purpose, a reason to stop punishing myself and start actually living." Vicky squeezes his shoulder. "Mi-sun's last gift. She brought us both here." They stand together in the memorial room, two people who failed the same woman, now honoring her by becoming better than their worst moments. The final revelation, callback to the hook. "You want to know what really happened at 2:47 a.m. when I paid her hospital bill? Yes, I thought I knew. The system showed her emergency contact, your phone number, still listed, and I thought about calling it, screaming at you, blaming you for not being there, for all the ways you failed her. Why didn't you? Because I looked at Wendy sleeping in that hospital waiting room, and I realized hurt people, but healed people heal people. I could curse the brother who didn't show up, or I could try to become the person who does show up, for someone else's Mi-sun, for someone else's Wendy. Gu-won's eyes filled with tears. What I did, giving you that card, it wasn't generosity, it was cruelty, a test designed for you to fail. I know, Vicky says, but I chose to pass it anyway. Not for you, for her, for me, for all of us who are trying to be better than our worst day. That's what left me in tears, Gu-won said quietly. Not just what you bought, but why. You could have taken everything and run. Instead, you did the one thing I couldn't do for 5 years. What's that? You showed up. You saw people. You treated them like they mattered, like Mi-sun mattered, like I should have treated her. Vicky chose to forgive the man who caused her greatest pain because she believed healed people heal people. If you were in Vicky's shoes, could you have forgiven Gu-won, or would you have walked away with the billions? Type "forgive" or "walk away" in the comments.